All right, everybody. Thank you for joining the inaugural episode of the Three Under podcast. I am your host, Julian. I'm joined today and every day by Josh and Shinrin. Uh, like I said, inaugural podcast. Our idea for this was simply just to make three dudes talking about sports. We happen to like golf the best, so that's going to be our focus, but worry not. There will be plenty of other sports talk. These nerds both like F1, so you'll get a little bit of that from them. We're all big football guys, but ultimately, we're going to talk about what's interesting to us. Love to get ideas from the peanut gallery when we can. But a little about me. I'm a dad of two. I've got a third on the way. So I don't get to play as much golf as I would like, but I do get to watch as much golf as I would like. Besides that, I
It's
work at a
debatable.
bank. Yeah, well, good point. It is debatable. Josh, take us away. Give the listeners a little about yourself, and then pass it over to Shinran.
I am what they call a degenerate. I do
Amen.
love all
Can vouch
sports.
that.
I think I've watched the most variety of sports, and I think I keep up with
I bet
every
that.
type of sport there is between the three of us.
That's
Well,
true.
when
Um,
you're a degenerate gambler, that tends to be.
recovering.
You're doing well. You're starting podcast about gambling, so
Yeah, right.
Yes, as a recovering degenerate.
This is we call
This
this an
is
outlet.
yes, it is an outlet.
Shanny, give
But
us a little background info on you. Oh, were you done, Josh?
no, I'm good. I'm good.
All right,
all
Shannon.
right. So the one talking point about Josh is that he's a degenerate. I, on the other hand, am very controlled in my betting needs. But I am originally from South Africa, and I was a professional golfer back in the day. So I'm by far the best golfer between the three of us.
Professional.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, quote unquote.
Raise your hand if you have as many professional wins as Shinran.
And me too. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Love all sports. Being from South Africa, I love worldwide sports, and I will say that I can vouch for Josh. Josh Eve is even put into like rugby and cricket all around the world. Doesn't matter if there's a sport
Mhm.
happening. Josh is involved.
I
Um,
know
so
what's going on.
Now, now I will say one thing about Shinran. He is a recent addition to the Beard Club.
that is true. I'm still
It
a
It's
does
couple
look
about
months
time.
good.
in.
It's about time. Anyway, so gentlemen, thanks for the intro. Where we are going today is we're going to do a little bit of a recap of Bay Hill. All three of us spent at least a day out there, and
It was fun,
then it was fun. The course looked beautiful. The weather was pretty
as always.
nice. Yeah, it does. From there, we're going to do a look forward to the players, and we've got some juicy takes coming up. Um, but first, let's recap Bay Hill. I think it ended up being a two-man race. Really, it was kind of interesting going down the stretch. I know all three of us were there yesterday. So let's start with winner reactions. Shannon, give us your thoughts on the winner yesterday and kind of how that shook out. I know you were there for the playoff. Is that right?
Yeah, no, we stayed all the way through the playoff. I will say I'm a big fan of Akshay, and to see how he won this tournament though is so different than winners in the past. I saw that he gained
Hmm.
16 strokes chipping and putting, which is just unheard of. It's the most ever in a
That's
PGA event.
that's video game
Um,
stats.
yeah, so I'm very jealous of that. If I think even I could have won if I had those chipping and putting stats, but no, Akshay is great. I remember back
Yeah,
when I was on trying through the pros and he was playing pre Monday qualifiers with me, like, and to see now 5 years later he's winning signature
crazy.
events, like he's definitely come a far way. So excited for Akshay. I think this could be a big breakthrough for him. He's kind of been knocking on the door the last couple weeks as well. But yeah, it was very impressive. I feel a little bad for Berger, but um, it's good to see him back in contention for the first time in a couple of years, really.
Yeah. Well, I saw something too that Akshay's got 3 wins now, and all three of them are sudden death playoffs.
Oh
Talk
wow.
about
Winner's
nuts
gonna
of
win.
steel, man.
Yeah.
I've always often wondered. I've heard a few high pressure shots. I know Shannon, you've hit more than I have, but do you get used to it, or is it just hard every time? I mean, he looked cool as a cucumber when I saw him on TV.
Yeah,
What are
like
your thoughts?
I love a playoff because in a playoff, especially when you're in Akshay's position where you were the chaser and you've played great,
Hmm.
you're full of
Yeah,
confidence for the day. Like I think it's
momentum.
much tougher for a guy like Berger to go into that playoff as kind of he
Totally
was trying to
agree.
hold on for the win and
Actually, so let me
yeah.
let me ask you this. I'm going to switch to Josh real quick here because I know. So for obviously those of you watching who don't know us, we grew up playing golf together, and in fact, we played a team event where Josh actually won the team event for us in a playoff. Josh, give us your thoughts on playoff golf. Is it, are the palms sweaty? What's going through your head in a playoff?
See, in that playoff, Shannon actually won the individual tournament, and he elected me to play in the playoff. I think it took a little less pressure if we lost
Hmm.
because I didn't win the tournament. I think Shannon might have had a little bit more pressure. I just got up there, you know, I do my thing.
Was that a
Well,
I
was that a 4 iron
I,
into that
I,
hole?
I
it
think
was
you're
it,
missing a key detail there, Josh. That
that I might
you
have doubled the last two holes to get us
he
into the playoff,
he
but
Josh
I
bobbled the last two holes for us. He was so depressed. Then he found out we're in a playoff, and this man came up to me and said, "Put me in the playoff. I'm not losing. There's absolutely no way
Put
I'm
me in,
gonna lose.
coach.
I need redemption. I'm winning this for us." And I was like, "If a
He
guy's that
did.
confident, you can't stand in his way." And
I had
he
I
went
had
out there.
seven
Hardest
bir-
hole on the course. You
I had
birdied that, right,
seven
Josh?
I did birdie it in the playoff. I didn't birdie
Hmm.
in regulation. It's a tough hole at Stone Mountain. It's like a 4 iron to like a creek. So you can't hit driver. It's like a 4 iron 4 iron into that hole. So it's
Yeah,
like a 200-yard layup and then another 200-yard shot. So definitely difficult hole. We won't talk about what the other guy made on the hole, but I made birdie. It doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
It
If you make
doesn't
birdie, it
matter.
don't matter. Don't matter.
Yeah.
You didn't get bailed out like Akshay did yesterday with Berger missing that par putt. No, I agree. I think Akshay is a great champion. I really like watching him play golf. His style is so, to me, it's different than what you're seeing on the PGA Tour these days. He's not going to be a guy that overpowers a course.
I,
Um, I
I
think for me, it was sad to see Berger lose because the man has been through some amazing comebacks. He was so close to the Honda. What was it, 2 years ago? Um,
choked a four
and then
shot lead
he,
there.
yeah, was it a broken finger he had last year?
Not sure
Yeah,
what his injury was, but I know he was out for a while.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think he broke something when he hit a root on a follow through.
See, we could talk about this a little later in the session. I've got a golf rant section saved for us, but to me, that's just a rule that needs to be changed. We're putting guys' safety at risk here. You're talking about his livelihood, right? He's now lost a year of work. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to point out before we moved on, how cool that Akshay shouted out his niece who recently passed away. I can't imagine the emotion that he was feeling when he made that putt. I'm sure it was the only thing on his mind. Um, Props to Akshay. That was great.
I I also want to touch on Shannon mentioned his putting and chipping ability at Bay Hill, which was I think the best putting performance ever at Bay Hill. But his tee off the tee, he was pretty bad all week until he
Hmm.
got to that back nine. He hit 9 of his last 10 fairways. I saw
Yeah,
to
and that
make
only put
that
him like
comeback.
50% for the week, right?
Yeah, he's still
Yeah,
50%. He hit like his last nine
and
fairways in that back nine.
for you all listening, I'll tell you what. I walked around that golf course. That rough was no joke. I saw at one point Brian Harmon was left on eight, couldn't even see the man's feet. They had spotters on every hole with flags. I mean, this is a true golf course where you're going in the rough and you're getting punished. So the fact that he was in, for the most part, the rough till the back nine, it's amazing he was even near contention. And then to me, to start the back nine, birdie, 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 nuttage. It was
Well,
epic.
Me and Shannon, we were on hole 13 and we watched his putt from the other side of the creek on 11 where he made that
Hmm.
60 footer that I think I
Hmm.
really put him over the edge and started that comeback. That was a crazy putt.
Yeah.
That
And
we were
then because
watching.
Berger was in tight there as well, and then
It
Akshay
was.
drains a
This was
bomb and Berger misses, and could have
Hmm.
been a real momentum shifter.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. We've got a lot of discussion points here. Congrats to Akshay. But we're going to move on to our biggest surprise of the week. Josh, lead us off with your biggest surprise of the week at Bay Hill.
Hmm, I feel like maybe it wasn't as big of a surprise for other people, but I think just the way that Ludwig has started the season and he came out at Bay Hill and he put up a T3. He withdrew earlier in the season. I think his best finish was like top 40,
Yeah,
and people were like, "Oh, like was he a one hit wonder?" He definitely proved
I
himself.
I can agree with that. So that's actually the same one I wrote. He wasn't on my radar coming into the week at all. Um, he wouldn't have been in my top 30, better yet, top three. So I'm right there with you, Josh. I didn't think he was gonna be there on the on Sunday.
I'll push back a bit and say that I think he is like number one in the world caliber. I think he should always be in your top 30, no matter how he's playing.
Well, I
That
don't
is
disagree
true.
with that. I don't disagree with number one in the world caliber, but I don't know. When I'm looking at, who am I picking this week, I'm certainly looking at current form. And I think sometimes we're all too fast to jump on the bandwagon for the younger players coming on the scene. We did it with Spieth, and now the dude hasn't won in what, 6 years. Um, I personally I love Ludwig. I'm glad he's there. I think he's
That
a
felt
great
personal,
golfer.
wasn't it, Josh?
It was personal because Spieth, he has been my favorite for a long time. I like to think that my golf game is kind of like a Jordan Spieth. You might find me in
It's
some
not.
landscaping.
Oh,
You
maybe it
could like
is.
you can find me in some landscaping and make a crazy par. Like you never know
I've
where
seen it.
this guy's gonna be.
I've seen it. Yeah, no, again, that wasn't a dig at Spieth. I'm just going off of recent memory. Some of these young guys come on and they look like they're going to be the next Tiger, and then you realize, dang, Tiger was number one in the world for like a million weeks in a row. And how
Well,
crazy is that to do?
that
I'll tell you the one thing I love about Aberg real quick, Shanny.
yeah.
I could watch his swing all day. His swing is so simple. It's not one that's ever going to hurt his body, right? I think, talk about a Tiger Woods. The personal issues were one thing, but ultimately what's taken him out is the injuries because he was so hard on his body.
I I wanna touch on
Thoughts?
Ludwig here. I want to ask Shannon this question since me and Shannon watched his entire back nine. I thought it was strange seeing his caddy relationship because he
Yeah, we
never
mentioned that a couple
talked
times to each other.
he
Hmm.
never talked to his caddy the whole back nine. Like I know you weren't there, Julian, but we were watching. He was all I think all the caddy said was like the yardage, and like he just held the bag. He didn't read any greens for him. He just held the flagstick. They never went over any game plan. So I thought that was kind of
It
strange.
was interesting. I mean, I think a lot of players differ. I would be on the side of I love having discussions with my caddy and thinking everything through, but I
And then
think
ignore
some
him?
guy, yeah, when two
Personal
guys caddying,
experience.
when it's two guys caddying, then I pretty much do the opposite of what you suggest. But no, with Ludwig, he's probably just one of those
Retard.
guys that that has been playing by himself for years and it just goes on his natural instinct of playing. But it was very interesting. They
So
really
it's
didn't say anything to each other.
it's funny you guys bring this up because that makes me think of his Masters performance 2 years ago when he was kind of in contention until about 11. Remember he went in the water on 11,
Mm.
and that's kind of where it took him out. I gotta wonder now, knowing how he was yesterday, if that's always been how he is, and then if so, do you think that's something that might kind of take some shots away down the stretch? I mean, the shot at 11 for anybody who's watched Augusta as limited as we have, you're not going for that pin on Sunday. It's not a pin shot. That's a you're right of the green or right side of the green. What are your thoughts about that?
Hmm.
Anyone?
On just like on his. Sorry, I missed that question.
The
Well,
question
yeah,
was two years ago at Augusta, Ludwig went in the water on 11,
Yeah.
and it's because he took that pin on, which is just not. It's not. I don't think he pulled it. It looked. I mean, he looked like he was going for that pin, and I'm wondering if if I'm caddying for Shenron, and he's like, I'm going for this pin on 11. I'm like, dude, this is not a birdie hole. If you steal one from a long putt, great, but this is a hole that could take you out of the tournament. So let's just power through, get our par, and move on.
yeah. I mean, I think that was that his first Masters or second Masters? That might have been his debut. Like,
I want to say it was his first actually.
yeah, so he was probably just trying to go out there and win it. Like, especially now because his caddy
That's fair.
yesterday, he's working with Ricky's old caddy now, who was with Ricky for a lot of Ricky's wins.
Is
Mhm.
Um,
this so? Is that a new partnership? Do you have any idea?
I'm not exactly sure if when in Ludwig's career they joined partnership if they were together at that Masters, but um, yeah, the I think that was probably the same. He's probably just a see it, pull the trigger, go for it guy, and was
Well,
trying to
he
win the
definitely,
Masters.
yeah,
And I
that's
agree.
true.
I think the Masters could be won on different holes. I'll take a par on that any day on number 11. But
Hmm.
um, you live and you learn, right? That he's got a lot of
Yeah,
Masters ahead of him, probably.
So I
yeah.
did just look it up. Ludwig and his caddy did start in December of 2023. So they've been together since
So
Hmm.
the
he has
start
been
of
with
the
this guy a while.
2024 season.
Okay, that's interesting. Maybe there's just a comfort factor there. I don't know. I feel like if it
But
were me, especially coming down the stretch, I'm asking questions.
I bring that up as well because watching the broadcast back on Berger on 18 when he missed the fairway right, I think Berger wanted to go for that pin on 18, and his caddy
He did.
talked him out of it.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Great
So
point.
like caddies can't, and he got up and down for par. So that was a good moment there for the caddy. So
Yeah,
like, are caddies important? I would think so.
I would take advantage. And to me, like one of the things when I'm playing the best golf is sometimes when I make the worst decisions. You know what I mean? So you got to think for Berger down the stretch, he probably felt like he could go over that pin all day. But dude, we're trying to win a golf tournament here. Like, let's play the odds. And that's what worked out. Ultimately he lost it in the playoff, not on that shot. But he could have lost it on that shot.
Sure.
So
That
anyway,
was before Akshay almost put it in the water, so that could have even
yeah,
been a winning decision.
yeah, yeah. Good point. Let's move on to our next one here. We just did biggest surprise. Let's
Mhm.
start with biggest disappointment for the week. Um, Now, Shannon, why don't you start us off with biggest disappointment?
Hmm.
My disappointment, I will say, is is a big boy, and I would say that Scotty Scheffler is now mediocre at golf, and that
Okay.
he was angry the whole
All
time we
right.
saw him.
Let's
He did
just
not
end
look
this
like he
here.
was having fun.
Oh my
Okay.
Um,
god.
Listen, no
I'll,
Scotty slander is tolerated on the 300 podcast. He gave my son a golf ball yesterday and then signed it afterwards. So
okay,
we're going to end the Scotty slander right there. The man is a man of the
okay,
people
okay, fine. You
and
can veto my
signed
disappointment, but I'm disappointed.
even after a double bogey on 18. I
I'll I'll tell you who should be slandered. That didn't look like he was having fun out there, and I don't even know why he came out there and played on the weekend. Was
I
Tommy
know.
Fleetwood?
I knew you were going to
Tommy
say that.
Fleetwood
Knew it.
looked miserable out there. He didn't even look like he wanted to be there. And
Dude,
That's true.
obviously, me like
I
as
he
300
finished 6 over.
podcast, he did finish 6 over. He was
I'll
absolutely
tell you
terrible
what.
on the weekend. Like two
I saw
birdies the whole
him.
weekend.
Yeah, I saw him on Saturday when he was playing alone. I think he was playing with Smotherman, and then Smotherman withdrew after like 2 holes.
yeah.
Yep,
Hmm.
a back
That
injury, I
man,
think.
that man pulls a huge crowd. I'm standing on 6. I didn't even know who was next. I'm like, oh, that's somebody popular. Sure enough, it's Tommy. The man is like one of the most popular golfers. But Josh, you're right. He looked miserable. He was on 6, like bogeyed
He
6.
he made
He was
a
like 100
sloppy
yards out.
bogey. Yeah.
sloppy bogey, and then he bogeyed 7, and it was like
No, he
he
stuffed
didn't
it on
like.
7, but missed the
No,
short birdie putt. He just
he
looked
Is that what it
stuffed it on
miserable.
was?
7. Yes,
Yeah,
he stuffed it
Yeah,
on 7 and then
but he
missed a
missed
short
it
one.
on Saturday, not
Yes.
Sunday.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah, that's what it was. But again, the body language tells you all you need to know sometimes. He did not look like
But
he was wanting to play golf.
I will say I am definitely a Fleetwood fan, and I think he is a decent candidate for bounce back here at the Players. He's
Hmm.
been playing well, really, leading up to this, like especially in the Middle East on the DP World Tour. But I don't mind it. I am fully on Team Ball Strike, and
Yep.
Tommy Fleetwood is one
Josh,
of the
can
generational
we get
flushers. So
can we get this one on record so that when we come back a week from now, we can see how that worked out?
I think this
I'm
one's
pretty
going to
sure I have him
age
as one of
like
my
a glass of
faves.
milk.
We shall see. Time shall
I,
tell. I don't think any of us thought Aberg was going to be there, so we'll see.
I don't even
Um,
think Fleetwood's going to make the cut next week. I'm just putting it out there
Save
right
that.
now.
Save that. Save that. Save that. I do want to talk about my biggest disappointment for the week, and not only because he withdrew, but for me it was Rory. I mean, I think the man is a little bit of a headspace right now that he doesn't want to be in. If you watched him on Thursday, day one, he got it to 4 under. Like he was right there, and then finished even. Like he took himself all the way out of it. He had a sloppy double, and then even on Friday, he had way more birdies than in the field, and shot 4 under. So it was a good bounce back, but ultimately he was 4 under going into the weekend, and that's what 9 back at that point or something like that. Like I don't know. To me, he was should have been easily the favorite, and then also like dog. Can we not work out hard enough to where we're pulling our back on a Saturday morning?
That
Come on
doesn't
now,
make that doesn't make sense to me. Like you have all
dog.
week
He was
to
he
prepare your
was out there
body.
in clothes and everything. Like he was ready to play, and then pulls his back.
Well,
well,
go ahead.
my girlfriend saw him yesterday. She was waiting for autographs, and he was walking past. He was at the course on Sunday, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Oh,
what
he
he
was
was
out there
doing
on
there, but
Sunday.
yeah,
Yeah.
not even there
Interesting.
anymore. So found it interesting that he was hanging around
Hmm.
Bay Hill even after the day after he withdrew. But yeah, I mean, I think all of our disappointments here were kind of the big three leading into the week between
Hmm.
Scheffler, McIlroy, and Fleetwood. Um, but I think
Yeah.
that's also probably because these guys have different standards, right? So anybody else in the field, you're saying, oh, he's 4 under going into the weekend. You're like, that's a pretty good week. But I mean, when you're picking one of these three guys, you're expecting them to almost be doing what Berger did, right? Be going wire to wire and be in control of
Hmm.
tournaments.
True. No, I agree, boys. I like those reactions. Let's wrap up some of this with stock up, stock down. Who, after watching Bay Hill, is your stock up on? Josh, why don't you start us off with this one, and then
I
Shanny, give us your thoughts.
I think my stock is rising on Ricky Fowler. I think
I
he's
love
put
that.
in
I love that.
I think he's put in a few good weeks here to start the
Hmm.
season, and he was around on the weekend. He was one of three people in the top 10 that
Hmm.
started on in the afternoon on Thursday.
Thursday afternoon. Yeah.
Thursday afternoon was the
Josh,
toughest round of the day of the whole week was Thursday afternoon. The wind was crazy, and he still managed a top 10.
tell me this about Ricky. What does Ricky need to do to get a win at the Players? Is he going to be in contention?
Well, Ricky,
Which part of his game needs to be on point?
I think it's his I think he needs to keep it in the fairway, off the
Yeah.
tee, because I think his iron play is good enough to win at the Players. He's won at the Players before, so
Hmm.
he
No doubt.
that week that he won at the Players, he was 6 for 6 on hole 17 for birdie. Like he birdied it 6 times,
Yeah.
twice in a playoff. That's
Yeah.
insane. So I think Fowler is trending in the right direction, and he could be a long shot pick for next week.
All right. Save that. Save that. Anybody else that your stock is up on before we go to Shanny here?
Hmm. I, I guess my stock just overall on Akshay. Akshay's stock, I think, rose
Hmm.
the most, not just because he won, but because this is the third tournament this year that he's been in contention going into
Hmm.
Sunday. And I think
Yeah.
he's really putting himself, starting to get into that category of like maybe
Dangerous.
like
Yeah,
dangerous. Like
you're
Yeah,
some
not surprised
people,
if he's
like
I
competing
agree.
anymore.
I
people are
agree.
starting. People fear Scotty, Rory, these people, but people might start having to fear Akshay.
I'll tell you what, right now, I want Akshay on the next Ryder Cup team. No questions asked. I'm hoping he gets there on his own. I think he will. But I'll tell you what we cannot do again is lose to Europe. Um, I'll keep this family friendly, but if we lose to Europe again, we're gonna have issues. Not acceptable.
Shannon, stock up
Uh,
on anybody at Bay Hill?
yeah, let's move on. Shanny, stock up.
My stock is up. I also had Akshay on there and
Hmm.
Ludwig, which we talked about a little bit, but another name I'll throw at you is Cam Young. Cam Young was
Mm,
driving it unbelievable this week.
great point.
He was in the top two for distance and accuracy off the tee, which at Bay Hill is a must. Those tee shots are very demanding at Bay Hill. So that's a couple of good
Hmm.
weeks he's rattled off after struggling kind of for I
Yeah.
want to say struggling, but that's also with high
Well,
expectations, right? Like
yeah.
that's just not winning for a while with guys of his caliber. But I think he's really trending back if he gets that driver swing going like that and can
And if he makes
gain.
putts,
Yeah, if he can gain two strokes around with the driver like he did this week, then he can win
that's
anywhere.
huge.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. And back to the Ryder Cup, man. He at Bethpage was our best player, and it wasn't close, particularly. Um, so I want him again, yeah, in 2 years as well. I want him and Akshay, and you know what? Give me Goddard up too. Anyway, enough
He
of the
should have
Ryder
been
Cup.
on it
Anybody
last year.
else? Dude, don't get me started. Keegan messed the whole thing up. I knew when he announced the picks, it was another Zach Johnson cluster. It was basically the same thing. We got wiped out on day one, and it was over. Anyway, Shani, anybody else that you've got your stock up on?
no, I think that's there's a couple guys going around, but I'll throw you people who I've got my stock down on.
Well, hold on. I got
Um,
a couple stock ups I want to get to.
oh, you okay? You go first. You go first.
And actually, I don't think either of you mentioned. I've got three on my list. I
Three.
thought
All
the
right.
obvious. I thought the obvious was Daniel Berger. Neither of you
I
mentioned
cut.
Daniel Berger.
I kind of see it as a one hit wonder, but
I like
Interesting.
he had an amazing round, but
Hmm.
his last two round, like Saturday and Sunday, he looked pretty shaky.
I agree, but I also don't agree because he did have some pretty dang good par saves on both those days. I think part of that is learning to be in contention again. We touched on this in the beginning of the episode, but those pressure shots clearly didn't drive the ball well down the stretch. But I think if you say the man's not a ball striker, you're crazy.
yeah,
And
that's
in
true.
addition to that, he can make putts.
See,
Um,
my to
my
combat
stock is
you
up.
on
He
that,
plays well on hard golf courses.
to combat you on that, I guess as you guys will see in the future, Julian loves to talk about the regression to the mean. And Berger was chipping
Fair.
and putting all year was about 140th. He was on the bottom tier chipping and putting coming into the week, and then he was like top five this week in both those categories. So I think the law of
Fair point.
averages is like I think this is more of an outlier than it will be a like consistency thing.
Didn't you back him earlier in
It's
the year, Josh, over at
Mm.
his other favorite course?
Yeah, his favorite course, Pebble Beach. Yeah, I had him, and I thought he was going to be a good one, and I think he shot five over that day. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
So
It
I
was
think we might
horrible to
still be a little
watch.
bit sour from that,
I think
but
I
I
might be
think
a
what we're
little bit
seeing is some
sour.
bitterness. We're seeing
He,
some
I,
bitterness right here.
he was like -4 in shots gained putting that day. He was missing every 3 footer he looked at. It was terrible. So,
Well, let's run through this real quick. My other stock ups are Sahith Theegala. I thought he
that's a good
played
one.
a. I
he's
thought he
big
played
time
really
now.
well. I thought he got screwed with the Friday finish into Saturday morning. I think his finish would have been a lot different had they gotten that in. Not that that's anybody's fault. And Berger
Saturday
hit the
morning,
shots.
Sunday morning.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Saturday he got when they got for the dark.
Yep.
Now Berger came out too, and he made the shots. Sahith did not. So you got to
Burger
hit the shots.
bogeyed.
That you're a
Bur-
professional golfer,
Akshay was the one on Sunday morning that came out and he
right?
birdied 18.
Yeah,
Burger bogeyed 18. There was 4 guys still out there, and I think Sahith bogeyed both holes. Burger
yeah,
bogeyed, and Akshay birdied.
yeah.
But
It's
think about
Whatever
the
it
bounce
was.
back that Thigala had, because you saying he came off to that slow start Sunday morning, but he was 6 under through 11 or 12 in the afternoon round to actually make a charge back up the leaderboard. So the kind
True.
of mental fortitude he had to have after starting off slow,
Yeah.
having to wake up early, and
No, and
then
I
actually
think this
making his way
last
back
year
up to
certainly
here to
wasn't
start
his
off with.
year. Yeah. Last year wasn't his year. This year so far hasn't been his year. We've seen him coming out of Pepperdine, back to our original point. He was hot. Looked like he was going to be a several time a year winner on the tour, which I still think he can do. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Stock up is there. And then my final one to round that out was Ludwig, who we've already touched on. Let's move on to stock down. And I'm actually going to pass the mic right back to myself. Keep it with me. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I thought my first one here is kind of interesting. First one on my stock down list is Ryo Hisatsune because he started the year off pretty hot. And then yesterday we saw him in the trees a couple times. He threw his club twice that I saw and finished just 1 under, which is respectable, but also dude was in contention on Sunday for the first several tournaments of the year. So I'm sure he wasn't happy with that. What are your thoughts on Ryo Hisatsune?
I think it's hard because I think he's played in almost every event this year, and
Hmm.
I think he might just need a break. Like he might just be fatigued, and he's going to play again at the Players, and I think he might need to take a few
That's
weeks
fair.
off. So
Hmm.
I don't think it's more of a skill issue. I think it's more of just a fatigue issue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Shanny, anything to add to that?
his pre-show routine with the water is pretty great though. I was talking to some people I was there with and explaining to them how well every player has got their own way to get in the zone, but
I love
yeah,
that.
no, I think he's definitely an up and coming guy. Kind of, he was really hot, like you were saying earlier in the air, Jules, but maybe just
Hmm.
cooling down a bit. I don't think it's any long term issues. Probably
Yeah,
just gotta get
no,
back
I
in the groove
agree. And
soon.
thing to remember too is the man is still young. Isn't he only like 23?
Mm.
He's just coming on tour. I think long term, his outlook is pretty bright. I was actually just more surprised that he wasn't in contention. I thought he would be this week. The other one on my list, and maybe this is obvious, you guys probably have him too, but Justin Thomas.
Mm,
What?
Nah,
this is
nah.
first tournament
Yeah,
back after a back injury.
I
I
turn the
think,
other way. He's fine.
yeah, I wouldn't put much stock
Okay.
into his round 2 rounds this week of 79. I wouldn't put too much stock into it.
Okay.
He
We'll see.
he he's a guy.
I like
His
JT,
his whole
so I'm
career, he's
hoping
had high ups and high downs, right? Like
that's a
the
good
thing
point.
is,
Youngest player to ever shoot 59.
yeah, he's a volatile guy, right? When he goes deep, he goes very deep. When he's not playing well, it can go south quite quickly. So as a
Yeah.
first event back, I don't put any stock in it.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Josh, let's move on to your stock down list. Who's on your list this week?
I have two I have two stock downs, and they're both from the country of England.
Mm,
I have Justin Rose and Matthew Fitzpatrick. I think
okay.
Matthew Fitzpatrick was one of the highest picked players this week on one and
Yeah.
dones in every betting market, and he just did not live up to the hype.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he hit his irons very well. He hasn't been putting very well. It was just like a
It,
meh performance. And then
you know,
go ahead.
he's on my stock down list as well here, Josh. I for the same
Hmm.
reasons, he was looking as like the most obvious pick going into the week, hitting it just probably one of the best runs he's had on his career with his full swing, but not putting well. And then you come into Bay Hill where he's always putted well. Then in hindsight now, he putted great and lost his swing. So when the pick is too obvious, it tends to
Yeah.
backfire a bit. But yeah, no,
Funny,
I think that was just a disappointing week for Fitzy.
yeah. I had him on my list too, but I didn't say it because I was curious if you guys were going to have him.
And
So
and
I
and,
agree.
and then with Justin Rose, he looked like when he won earlier this year, he looked amazing. And then
Hmm.
two at Pebble, he didn't look very good. Here he
No, I
didn't look
picked him
very
at
good,
Pebble.
and like he missed the cut here, and I'm just like wondering like
Disappointing.
is it is disappointing. It is very disappointing.
It just goes back to his win this year, where he didn't just win, he absolutely demolished the entire field. Like you were
Lapped
thinking
him.
that this guy was
Totally.
prime Tiger, and every other start he's had this year is just yeah, he hasn't showed up really. So as a golfer myself, I find it interesting how you can just find form out of nowhere and then lose it again.
And
Like
and and not just form, but like incredible form.
yeah, and
Like
just
going on a
impressive.
tear. Yeah. Good point.
But
Good point.
it's just always, I guess he just always has a viable option of if he has a hot week, I guess. But one of
Yeah.
those guys.
Shanny, who's on your stock down list?
Yeah. So Josh mentioned Fitzy, and the other two we talked about a little bit as well. I think Fleetwood, and I'm not allowed to say Scheffler. Scheffler was on there as well, but but yeah, I think Fleetwood, as we mentioned earlier, just didn't look like he was
Yeah.
having fun out there. But I do think he's on the quicker bounce back list for me.
Okay. Interesting. No, I agree. Again, he just didn't look like he wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes these guys need to take it with a grain of salt. Like any one of us would give our left nut to play professional golf, and they get to do it and make millions of dollars. Like, dog, just be appreciative that you're out there. Like, look like you're having a little bit of fun even when you're not. Anyway, let's move on. I think Bay Hill was. It seems like it always lives up to the expectations. We've always got an exciting finish. Great tournament. But let's look forward now to the Players' Championship, which in my mind is the actual fourth major. The Open Championship, Golfer Champion of the Year is really fifth, right?
Oh, what a joke. I thought you were going to say
So
PGA Championship. That would have been my take.
now it
The
goes
Open is great.
Augusta's the crown
But
jewel. It's I mean
okay,
it's not,
no one's fighting that.
okay. Thank you. To me, it goes Augusta, U.S. Open,
Agreed.
PGA, Players. There's probably a few others in there actually before I get to the Open
That is
Championship.
ridiculous.
The British Open. Half the time the course looks like a cow pasture. Anyway, this isn't about the British Open. This is about.
You just made it about the
We'll get to
British
there.
Open.
Now, listen. Save some content. We'll get there. But this is about the Players Championship. Um, Rory is our defending champ. I saw today, is staying 2 extra days at home. He's not going to the course today
Oh,
like he normally would.
did not see that.
How are we feeling about Rory?
I don't. I just can't trust him after last week of just the his back issues. How could
So,
you put
Josh,
any stock into him right now?
I
And
think you actually said it the perfect way. I can't trust him.
yeah, like would I be surprised that he won? No, I wouldn't be surprised. But do I trust him to play all 4 rounds right now? I don't know if I can.
Am I putting him in a DraftKings lineup? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Shanny, thoughts on Rory?
After I had him in a DraftKings lineup that last week, along with Knapp, turned out to be a great lineup. Uh, paired those two with Thagala and Morikawa and Ludwig, so good
Mm-hmm.
fun. But anyway,
Could have been.
Rory, I think, unlike you guys, I still trust him. I got burned last week. I'm still
Interesting.
on board. I just
Why?
seeing how he's been hitting his irons has been unbelievable. I think he took Scotty's role with the irons. Scotty used to kill everyone with irons, and Rory's always done it with his driver his whole life.
Mhm.
But his iron play has been unbelievable, and I don't think he's. I think he could have. He should have really won the Genesis. He lost strokes putting at the Genesis, and I mean, I think he should have won that tournament. Like, I think he's knocking on the door of winning multiple majors this year more so than Scotty is, and that
I'd
I
say
think
that's
he
probably
might
accurate.
I think he might have been a little overly cautious with the back. I know he loves the Arnold Palmer, but
Mm,
um, he's
that's
probably
a good
looking forward
point.
to the Masters. He
The only thing that gives me pause on that point, Shanny, is he's not in Ponte Vedra yet. You
yeah.
know, if he was being overly cautious, one would venture to think, maybe he's working out up there. Maybe he's not even doing full swings, but
Mm.
chipping and putting around the green. Um, I could kind of see that going either way at this point. But anyway, let's talk about. I know we're fortunate that we all kind of live in the area. So for our viewers that are watching, we're about 2 hours away. We're just south. Um, the Players Championship held at TPC Sawgrass is in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. For those who have been there, they know Ponte Vedra is windy all the time. For those who have watched the Players, they know it is windy all the time. So wind is going to be a big factor this week. Um,
And
boys,
Jules,
give me.
we've played there before, and
We played
I
there.
don't
That's
know if
right.
you remember, but when we were playing there, and it wasn't even super windy that day, but the
No, but
caddy
it
on
was it
seven,
was 35 degrees when we teed off.
yeah, but when we got to 17, the caddy said, "Hey, go ahead and club up. There's wind up there," and I'm like, "There's no wind up there. I
No,
don't need to club
the
up."
water was the
But
water was glass.
and sure enough, I'm like, "All right, I trust you, caddy. You walk this course twice a day." Clubbed up, came center of the green like that. So
Yeah,
even when you don't think there's wind, there's still wind. Pontevedra.
yeah. Good point. I know it's a course where the rough is not going to demolish you. Obviously, you want to be in the fairway. I don't think length is really an issue. To me, scrambling is going to be a key factor. If you can not lose strokes on some of those par fours with smaller greens, I think you're going to put yourself in a good spot on the weekend. Any other thoughts about the course itself, boys, before we kind of move on to our picks for the week?
I think it's I think it's one of the most beautiful tracks that we get to watch this year, besides
Every year.
Augusta.
Yeah.
And I think the Players Championship is the Players Championship. I think all the players look
Thanks, Booger.
forward to this. I think this might be the second, like, I think it goes for most players, it's probably the Masters and then right here. So I'm excited to see. There should be a lot of good storylines.
Now,
Yeah.
Julian, there's been a lot of discussion lately about the fifth major aspect. What's your take there on the players and
I just
being
told you what the
considered?
fifth major is. It's the
Well,
British.
okay, so you would be fine with putting this as a major. You
Oh, so you're saying to make it an actual major?
an actual major counting towards majors for players.
That's a good question. Isn't it didn't tennis go to five not all that long ago?
No, the women's went to 5.
Women's tennis?
No, women's golf.
Oh, women's, that's right. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, if I had my way, I probably would make it a major. I think the course is, you talk about Augusta being so rich in history, and to me, like what makes the Masters the best one is Augusta National. I don't think any of us can argue with that. And to me, when I look at TPC Sawgrass, you've got a similar course, right? Like it's beautiful. It's got arguably the best three finishing holes in golf. You've got a
That's true.
huge risk reward par five. You've got a do or die par three 17th. And then you've got what could be a massively dramatic 18th with water up the whole left side.
Yeah, that's a tough hole.
Um, would I mind
But
watching that every year like I watch Augusta? To me, nobody talks about this, but the tee shot on 18 at Augusta is sick. Like it's a hard shot. And I think you have the same thing at TPC Sawgrass,
yeah.
especially for a righty.
Mhm.
I actually think, advantage Akshay here. He plays that nice little buttercut. It fits the exact length of the hole. I think that's beautiful. Yeah, I would make it the fifth major, like no question. I don't know what are we waiting for? Is
Do,
really my question.
do you think it would take away from Augusta at all being considered the only major now that's on the same course every year, do you think it would
I think
lessen the lure of the
yeah, I think that's a good
Augusta?
question. I think there's two camps of golfers right now. You have the purists, you have everybody else. The purists are the ones that say, "Oh, you hit it in a divot. Good luck. You can't move it." Oh, you're wearing pants in 100 degrees? Yeah, you should be. Those are the purists. I think they would say, "Yeah, that takes away from Augusta." But I think the rest of us who actually just love golf for the love of the game would say, "Hell yeah, fifth major."
Well, I don't even want to tell you what my stance is on those two rules topics then, but
Oh.
hit out of the divot. That's part of it.
Now, Shannon,
You
here's the
learn to
problem.
live with it.
If I'm in the rough, okay, I get it. I hit a bad
Then
shot.
what
I'm in the rough.
defines a divot?
If we can agree on the 99.9% of divots, we can talk about the 0.01% that are questionable. How about that?
That okay, there's a lot more than 0.01%. How old is a divot is what I'm getting at.
Mm.
Like if
Ooh,
All right,
if I'm
a
gonna call
divot.
rules officials
I'll
over
make
all the
it.
time because I'm in a little divot
No,
that's pretty
no,
much
heck no.
grown back in now.
I'll make it real simple for you. Okay? You call your playing partner over, you two of you agree.
You know what?
If
All
you
right, I
both
back
agree it's a
that.
divot, move it. If you don't. Done.
Yeah,
Case of play.
that's
Over.
how most rules should be solved on the golf course. I agree with that.
Yeah. Easy. Easy solution. But no, instead we're focusing on golf ball rollback. I don't want to see a 400-yard drive. You know what? I want to see a 500-yard drive. Give me a better golf ball.
Okay, on that topic, 1 second here. The golf ball rollback is ridiculous. All they need to do is
Couldn't agree
soften the
more.
golf courses. Like
Couldn't agree more.
these pros are hitting drives that are bouncing and rolling 50 yards. That's what's making the golf courses look so short. There are
Hmm.
370-yard drives, really only 300-yard drives if you're playing a municipal course that has soft, wet fairways. Like,
Yeah.
don't have to roll the ball back, just soften the course, and
Couldn't
it's
agree more. And you know what? I'll tell you what's surprising on the golf ball rollback. The biggest thing to me is Mike Wan was one of the biggest supporters. And to me, Mike Wan was as close to infallible as you can get in golf leadership, but I really think he messed that one up. Josh, your thoughts?
This could be a bad example because I don't think many courses, especially your local courses, have as much money as Augusta National. But looking at the scores from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and then today, the winning score is about the same, and people are hitting it farther. What Augusta does the best is they adapt the course to what the golfers are
Hmm.
doing now. And if you thought of it that way, if the courses adjust and do things that could stop a long ball hitter, then we wouldn't have a problem. People might start hitting it back closer anyways. Like I think the
Amen.
golf courses are what need to be adjusted, and not the equipment and the golf balls.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the point Shady made. I mean, I
It's
think it's the exact right argument.
especially like these aren't the regular people that are having these problems, right? These are
Hmm.
the top 100 guys in the world that are playing on these courses that are this course's whole job is to make sure it looks good for this 1 week. Like
Right.
they can work around what the pros are doing. It's not your regular
Hmm.
Muni course here out in the
Yeah.
boondocks. Like yeah, I think the PGA Tour can just work with the courses they have.
So let's move on. I think we all know how we feel about that. Totally all agree there. Let's do a hot take real quick for give me, Josh, let's start with you. Give me one superstar. And again, superstar can be self defined, but one superstar that misses the cut this week at Augusta. Who am I fading?
I said it earlier, Fleetwood. I don't think he's having
Okay.
fun playing. I don't think he's having fun playing golf right now. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't look like he's having fun, and I don't think. I think having fun translates to good golf. So if you're
I think
not
that's a
having,
great point.
I think if you're not having fun on the golf course, it's easy to, miss a short putt here, miss a drive there that you're not focused on. So I would fade Fleetwood this week.
Shenron, who are you fading?
I think fate is relative, right? So,
You
I
would.
well,
Mr. Fade.
I All right, no need for that now. All
Just
right,
give us a player.
I will say Scotty Scheffler is going to be worse than 20th again.
Well, my question was who's missing the cut, but
Oh, was
if
that your
that's your answer,
question?
okay.
All right, my next. I would go out on the limb and say Scotty's missing the cut, but I just don't think that's in reality. So my
Mhm.
other big name, I think, that is a little lost right now, and you might debate how big it is, Julian, considering your take on the European Ryder Cup team. But I think Robert McIntyre is not really in a good place right now.
Okay.
He's lost strokes on approach 5 weeks in a row, and that's usually what is helping him
It's
with
interesting.
his good short game. So
Hmm.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if he struggles, having lost strokes on approach here around TPC.
Yeah.
You really need that part of your game.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue that's the most important part of your game, if nothing else, to keep you in it. To me, he always flies beneath my radar, but I'm never surprised when he's in contention.
Mm,
So it's a good pick. I probably wouldn't have thought about him just because maybe in my head he's not superstar, but he should be really.
mm.
Yeah, I kind of like that one. Again, I actually like Bobby Max. I'm rooting for him, but good pick there.
By the way, I saw
I'm
him
gonna.
yesterday, and I was
Mhm.
he is big. I always thought he was a little guy. He is like 6'3". He's a big guy.
Now, listen,
Doesn't come across that way.
that's what your dad said, so I looked it up. He's actually only 5'11".
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that your dad came up to me and said that to me, and I looked over and I was like, he's about my height, and then I remembered you guys might be a little bit on the shorter side, so it might look a little taller to you, but
I don't know. I guess in my mind I just pictured him like a Brian Harmon out there on lefty height, but
No.
yeah, that took me
they
by
don't call
Um,
him Bobby Big Mac for nothing.
surprise.
my miss the cut here is Rory McIlroy. I think the
Oh,
defending champ is going to miss the cut.
All right, I'll bet you on that.
Um, I'm going to say mostly that because I think that back injury is not good. Again, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think if it were kind of something he was just being cautious about, I think he'd be up in Ponte Vedra already. So
Yep.
we'll see. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to defend the pick any farther. I think he's going to miss the cut this week.
All
I
right,
could be wrong. I hope I'm
we'll be
wrong.
happy
Golf
to
is better when he's in contention, but
remember this moment next
um,
week when he's holding his back-to-back
yeah.
trophies.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, so this is a great segue into our next segment is the betting portion of the week. So for the listeners out there, what we're going to do, each of us is going to pick an outright winner, a top 10, a top 20. We're all going to pick a long shot, which again, self-defined. We're going to pick a player to fade, and that could be any fade, doesn't have to be miss the cut. We're going to pick a first round leader. We're going to do a best bet, any bet, and then we're going to do our lock of the week for your DraftKings team. Um, boys, let's run through these a little quicker. Shenron, give us your outright winner for the week.
I absolutely loved what I saw from Ludwig. I have him at
Okay.
25 to 1 here. On here in Florida, we use Hard Rock Bets, so we don't have the luxury of shopping different books. But yeah, in
You mean
general, I
us
think
non-degenerates?
yeah,
Us
no,
non-degenerates
for
have one
sure.
sports book.
But hey,
Josh.
and we're pretty thankful for that with that one sports book. For a long time, we had to do
Yeah.
everything offshore, and this is much more convenient. So, yeah, but I think Ludwig, everything he does is he's a complete player, right? I think comparing him to Xander a year or two ago when Xander just did everything right. I know
Mhm.
he's a little bit on the slower side recently as well, but I think Ludwig is going to
Injury.
turn into somebody like that prime Xander was, who
Yeah.
just doesn't really have any weaknesses. And I wouldn't
Josh,
be
give us
surprised
your
if he
outright
shines
winner.
here.
Yeah.
uh, unfortunately, I also have the same pick. I think Aberg. He's
Wow.
played here one time. I think maybe twice. He has a top 10. He looked good this week at Bay Hill. I think he plays in
And
Florida pretty well. I think he has a good chance of winning it, and I'm pretty sure he's teeing off in the morning uh, on Thursday. Is he teeing off in the morning on Thursday? And
Fact check that one, Shanny.
last the last 14 out of 17 winners have teed off in the morning on Thursdays. So I think I would back him as a big name.
Okay. My outright winner this week is Colin Morikawa.
Yeah, that's a good
I think
pick.
he's been ball striking so well. I think this course is a ball striker's paradise. Um, to me, this is a course where putting is important, but not as important as some places, which I think gives Colin an advantage. I think one of the most impressive performances I've seen there was a few years ago from Cam Smith with his short game, and I think Morikawa can kind of emulate that this week. I think we're going to see Morikawa lift the trophy on Sunday.
I don't think many people
Let's
would be
reverse it.
surprised
True.
with that if
Well,
that
again, that's why
happens.
he's my outright pick. But
For sure.
Josh, give us your top 10 now, Josh. Who's finishing top 10?
Top 10, I think a good value would be a Ricky Fowler. I think
I
Ricky
love it.
Fowler has
I
a
love
good
it.
chance to get into the top 10. He's been in contention here before because he's won. So I think he's playing good. He's lives in Florida. He knows these courses and greens pretty well. So I think he would be pretty good value. I'm not sure what his value is. I'm looking it up right now. So I think he's a pretty good pick for a top 10.
Shanny, who's your top tenner?
A plus 350.
There
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
great value. That's great value.
My top 10 here is plus 325, so about the same place on the board as Josh. But I'm going Hideki Matsuyama. Hideki is on
Interesting.
the team ball strike that I like. And his whole life, if Hideki putts well, he wins. And this year, he's been putting the best he has
Yeah.
out of any other year he's been on tour. And he just hasn't really had that um, breakthrough moment. And if you look at his course history at TPC Sawgrass, like TPC is a pretty volatile place, but 3 of the last 5 years, Hideki's come top 10 here. The other two are miscuts, so it's high risk, high
Hmm.
reward. But at plus
Interesting thought.
325, having done it 3 of the last 5 years, I would say that's pretty good value.
And he's in decent form right now.
Yeah, he's playing well. So
Interesting.
I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he, is fighting for it on Sunday.
Yeah. My top tenner is Colin Morikawa. Totally
Mm.
joking.
I
Um,
mean, it would make sense if he's going to win, he's going to come top 10.
yeah. No, I'm going with Russell Henley right here. One of the things I'll never forgive him for is leaving that putt short on Sunday at the Ryder Cup last year, but I do think he finishes top 10. The man is an absolute ball striker, and he's got a great short game. I think this course fits a course where he can win, right? It's not overly long. It's not the distance that's really going to kill you. And I think that's advantage Russell Henley. Shanny, give us your top 20er.
My top 20er has been playing unbelievable lately, and it is Ryan Fox at plus 400 to come
Ooh,
top 20.
really?
He has, I think, 4 or 5 straight top 25s, so he is in form. It you know some of them have been
Hmm.
roller coasters, but he's played at TPC 3 times, made 2 cuts, come top 30 in those. Like especially now having being in better form the last month or two than he probably ever has been on tour before. I definitely think he at least has the little bit of course history that backs up a top 20 at 4 to 1. I see it. I see it happening. That's good value.
I like that. Josh, give us a top 20 guy for you.
This is going to be a crazy pick. I don't think you guys will even. I could give you 25 guesses. I don't even think you would pick this guy.
What's the odds
My
at? Do you know?
plus
I'm on the edge
500.
of my seat.
Plus
Plus
500.
500.
Oh,
I'm picking a guy that's making his PGA debut this season. Didn't look very good to start the season. He looked better at the Genesis. He won 3 times last year on the DP World Tour. Marco Penja. Is that how you say it? Penja?
I would have thought it's a Penge. but who knows?
I'm not
But
sure,
yeah,
but
that guy
he
bombs it. He hits it a
he
mile.
he bombs it. He looked pretty good at the Genesis. I think maybe first few rounds over here in America, little butterflies. First time on the PGA Tour, and I think he hasn't played since the Genesis. I think he's going to be geared up and ready to play at the Players, and I like the value. It's more of a value play, and I think that he can squeak in a top 20 if he gets that driver on on a rope.
I back that. That's the same reasoning I had stock up on Cam Young. I think, um, he's a great player, winning 3 times on DP World. I mean, that's impressive. Just you let that carry over to America, and this could be a good place to start.
Well, you were right, Josh. I never would have guessed that. So congratulations. My top 20er is actually a man whose swing is smooth as butter. I'm going Corey Connors. I don't feel like he's been putting all that great. I'd love to put some stats to that. I don't have them off the top of my head, but I think he's going to find a little bit of form this week. I want to put him in my top 20.
Hmm.
Top 20 machine. I think I've read around that Corey Connors top 20 is one of the most profitable bets he could have made in the last 2 years. He just keeps racking up those 12th and 15th place finishes. So
Yeah. And
can't
again,
go
this is
wrong with a
nice.
Corey
Another
Connors top
course that
20.
that yeah, another course that fits the bill for his game. Let's move on to long shot winner. I'm going to start with myself on this one. This is a man who arguably should have won this tournament before. A man that everybody loves. Let him cook now. Min Woozy.
Mm.
That's your
Thoughts
long
on Min
shot?
Woo? He's 30-1.
31. That's favorite territory.
With these Scotty
Whatever.
odds, the Scotty odds are kind of like making everything seem like it's a favorite, but it's still a long
I,
shot.
I'm not dogging the pick though. I love Minwoo. I think that's a
He
great choice.
he may be a medium long shot. We're talking to
Yeah.
win now. Long shot to win. 30-1 is decent odds. I think Woozy's going to finish up there. I think he looked good last week. Looked like he was having fun. Obviously, we know he can compete at the course, and it might be his time. Mance just really needs to close on Sunday. I think he's been in a few tournaments before, and Sunday hasn't been his friend. So we'll see.
Yeah. I like his game.
Good
Josh,
luck
give
to you.
us your long shot.
My long shot is going to be a 75 to 1 winner. We've talked about him. We talked about him. Sahith Theegala. He came in top 10 last year at the Players. He looked good at Bay Hill. He had a bad Saturday back nine. He got it all the way up to 10 under on Saturday, and then he fell back down to 4 under to start on Sunday. I think he's primed to make a big win here on the PGA Tour, make a big splash. So I think the Players is a tournament that you can see a bunch of long shots win. I think it's pretty random. So I think Heath Theegala has a good
Good
chance.
point. Good point.
I think those odds are a little disrespectful to how well he's been playing the last month or two.
I
Shanny,
agree.
give us your long shot.
My long shot here is probably going to lose, but it's 100-1. And at the most part, I was just shocked when I saw Justin Thomas's name at 100-1. And I know it's the comeback, and now he sucked last week, but he's 1 year before. He shot 62 here a year ago. Like, this is still Justin Thomas. If he showed any semblance of life last week, he would be like 50-1. So I just it's just the number at 100-1. I think you're still betting on Justin
Okay.
Thomas, and the thing is, if he wins, he gets hot. I mean, then you've got a great number. His
Well,
odds are going to drop quickly if he birdies the first few holes on Thursday.
and I guess the question is, if I have to take somebody at 100-1, what are my other options?
Exactly.
Probably, probably not many guys I really want to put my money on.
Yeah.
Um, all right, who are we fading this week? We talked a little bit about miss the cut. I'm actually going to stay with myself on this one too because my fade is Fleetwood to miss the cut. I'm going to
Makes
stick with
sense.
that one.
Mm.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
I'll throw in a different fade for here. I'm gonna go big picture, career fade. Brooks Koepka is washed. He's done. He's missing the cut this week. He's never winning again in his life. He's a
Flip
has
him.
been.
I
My
No,
think
bad.
it's just disrespectful to a man
you've seen
who's
the last
won.
Brooks Koepka victory.
Mm.
Mm-mm. The man has dog mentality. Um, if I had to bet in
Maybe a stray
Oregon
dog.
on, okay, cut that, Josh. No, I think the man's too much of a competitor. You don't win that many majors and just go away.
He,
One, maybe, two, maybe, but no,
he
dude's
just
gonna be back.
he doesn't do anything good anymore. And I know you made the argument it was Liv. He wasn't caring. He was just raking in money. But the player he was, statistically, he doesn't do anything well that he used to do it back in the day when he was winning.
He
And
All
played.
right, Josh.
He had a top 10 at the last tournament he played. He had a bad 75 on the first day, and he bought the on the weekend. He shot 2 rounds in I think 66 and a 67. So I think he's trending towards making a
now
splash.
he's just a headline now. He's done.
Mm.
Miscut.
Okay,
That's my
all
fate.
right. Josh. Let's add the Brooks Koepka tracker for future episodes of the pod. See how this ages. I'm hoping it
Yeah,
ages like
milk.
wine for us because I see Brooks Koepka having a few more wins before he's done.
I agree. I
Um,
is somebody that I want to fade this week that I think is trending super down is a guy that I was super high on to start the season, and that is Sam Burns. Sam Burns is always like everyone talks about how good he is at putting. He has been terrible this year. He I think he lost his stroke. I don't know what it is.
mm,
He's not hitting it close and he's not making the putts. So
yeah.
I
No, and
think
I
I
think
think he's a
Josh, you're
big
right.
guy to miss the cut this week. He missed
I
the
don't
cut
think
last
he's
week.
got I don't think he's got other parts of his game that can lift him up either. I think
No.
he's got to putt well to be up there, and obviously, just looking at his finishes this year, he's not putting well.
You'll see when he goes back to
I
I
think
his,
that's
thought
a
he
good
his
was
one.
favorite track next week
he's been
over
trending.
there
He
at
was trending
Valspar.
up at the end of the last season, and then he's been terrible. He
Yeah.
he probably will play Valspar because he's going to miss the cut and make no money again this week. So he has to make money somehow.
Josh, let's move on now. Who's your first round leader? Pie in the sky.
I think if, like I was high on this. I was high on this pick to start the season, or been high. I've been high on this guy all year. I was kind of sad to see him withdraw last week, and it's Jake Knapp. I think he has
Mm,
the ability to shoot low at any course. His swing is buttery smooth. He's a good putter. If if he hits it in the
yep.
fairways and makes some putts, like he shot
He can
59
get hot.
at PGA National last year, he can light it up with anybody.
Yeah, Josh, it's funny. I actually had him on my short list for first round leader. Ultimately, I went with a guy we all know and love, Siwoo Kim. I think he's going to
Another
jump
guy.
out to a first round lead.
Yeah.
Shanny,
I
When he gets hot with his irons, I mean, there's no better.
S-
I I
Siggy
think
Kim.
I think I think Siwoo fits in that category with Ryo of like fatigue. I think he's played in almost every event this year.
Well, he has always done that. And speaking of which, where's Sung J M right now?
Hey, he made his
Started
I
debut
haven't
last.
seen
last
him in a
week.
while.
He made
Did
his
he?
debut at Bay Hill.
Yep.
He's another
He was,
guy who seems to play every
I
week.
think he was coming off a wrist injury, but
I
missed
thought
the
he was
cut.
maybe doing his mandatory army time.
Yeah,
I think
poor
I think he
guys.
won. I think he won a
R.I.P.
medal at.
Ishikawa.
I think he won a medal at the Korean Games or something. Got out of it.
Yeah.
Nice. Shanny, who's your first round leader?
My first round leader is a guy similar to Siwoo that when he gets hot, he gets real hot, and that is Sepp Straka. And
He was on my short list too. That's
when
so
Sepp
funny.
Straka gets hot, that guy shoots 10 under like nothing. So
Yeah,
not
in
only
eight
that,
holes.
I think he's been playing very well lately.
Hmm.
Lots of top 10s, top 20s, especially at these signature events. I saw a stat that Sepp Straka has like the third or fourth best score in the last 2 years at signature events. Like this guy shows up for the big games. He's not afraid to go deep. I think he's a perfect combo for a first round lead at 60 to 1. So
I love that. All right, boys, we are rounding in on 70 minutes here. Let's run through these last two. Give me your best bet and your lock of the week for
I, I'll I'll
DraftKings.
I'll
Shanny, go
kick that
first with your best bet.
I'll kick that off because I'm gonna tail that on Sep Straka for a top 20 at plus 175. I think he's on a roll. He has good course history here at the Players. Um, yeah, Sep Straka top 20, my best bet of the week.
Okay.
My the best bet, and I don't even think it's a question that this is going to not hit. It might be minus money, but it's only minus 110, and that is a
Okay.
Morikawa top 20. This man is not going. He's going to sniff a win this week. There's no way this man falls outside the top 20. Put that, stamp it.
Okay.
I mean,
Actually,
Julian picked him
minus.
to win, so
Yeah, no, I love that. My best bet of the week is actually an Aberg top 20.
I love that.
Um, I forgot what the odds were, but I think it was plus money when I looked it up.
hmm.
And it may have been
It
minus 110, something like that. But I remember thinking that's pretty dang good value for a
plus
guy coming
120.
T3. Yeah, plus money. You give me plus money for an Aberg top 20 at a course where he can dominate. I'm going to take that all day. So that's my best bet. Lock of the week for your DraftKings team. Let's do a quick round robin here, and then we will sign off on the inaugural episode of 300. Shaney, DraftKings team.
My I think he is completely mispriced, and that is Jake Knapp at 7,600. Jake Knapp.
He's at
I mean
7,600.
that is so low. The pricing for DraftKings came out early as well. It came out while the Arnold Palmer was still happening, but
Mm,
that's disrespectful for a guy who's coming off like his worst finish this year in 5 events is 11th. Like there's just no way that he should be the I don't know 30th priced guy
hmm
in this field. Like the odds of him outperforming that money is I do think he's probably going to be one of the most popular guys on the slate because of his pricing. But I'll eat that chalk because I think after being burned by a withdrawal last week, I think a lot of guys might still be off him. Like might be a little sour, me included. But
hmm
I'm ready to be hurt again. Jake Knapp,
I
DraftKings law.
love that.
Josh, who are you riding for DraftKings this week?
I think that it is one of the most disrespectful pricings that I've ever seen in DraftKings history. Priced at $7,600 less than Shanron's pick, and a guy that had a top 10 last week. Sahith Theegala. That
I love it.
man is priced at 7,000. I wouldn't be surprised if he's 50% owned this week. That is, he's a must in your lineup if you want to cash. That's my pick.
Interesting. Interesting.
Are you
I
going down
actually
low, Jules, or
had
are you going up top?
no, I had the same player as you, Shanny. I had Jake Knapp. Nap time this weekend. I thought 7,600 was pretty disrespectful.
I
Um,
honestly I like everybody
if
in that high 7,000 range. I mean there's
yeah,
some really good value there. I know it's a big event, so the pricing's a little softer than usual, but I mean I think you can
You
just make a
yeah,
balanced lineup
you
right in that 7,000s and you have a good
and do
chance to
pretty
win.
well.
you
hmm
you
Yeah.
Julian
If I had to,
Julian. Let me. Shannon said that he loves the high 7,000s. Priced right at 7,800 is our boy Brooks Koepka.
Oh
that's my
He
no!
said
boy.
he loves it.
I'll take Kepka for my DraftKings team this week.
Oh no! All right, I don't like everyone in the high sevens. Have fun on the
You know,
misspent.
Excellent.
you know who's underneath Brooks Koepka at 77? Akshay. He just won at Bay Hill.
It's going to be a hangover. But also, I think he's a good pick this week. All right, boys, we are 75 minutes into our first episode. I, for one, think the time flew by. I think we could probably do this twice as long as we just did. For you listeners out there, we are going to update our picks every week in a graphic not yet created, but we will next week. So you can see how we fared. And I think we're going to have some awesome, awesome content for next Monday when we rehash the players and then go into the Valspar. But closing thoughts, boys. I think this was a productive 75 minutes.
Jules, you got a
Josh,
one minute rant about anything over there on your side?
Shannon, I could go on a 1 minute rant about a lot of things in the golf world, but I think we're gonna table some of that for next week because I think we can get into some good stuff there.
I want to do a 1 minute rant.
You got it, Josh.
1 minute
You've got
rant.
30 seconds.
It's not about golf. It's about F1 and the atrocity that they did to
Okay, thank you
the
for tuning
engines.
in.
The engines have
It was
the new
terrible.
regulations of F1 are terrible. Bring back the
It was
old
just
engines,
Mario Kart
please.
racing out there. It was brutal.
It was terrible.
Yeah, no, you got teams that can't even finish the race over there. Aston Martin just coming out for the start and the end, missing the middle of the race.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
they started and then they pit and then they brought them back out for testing in the middle of a real race. This is just
no.
it's an atrocity to the sport right now.
I agree. That was a great rant, Josh. Great topic.
All right, Shani, closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts are the golf season is getting underway. I think Bay Hill is, I mean, it really started with Pebble, straight into Genesis, into Bay Hill, into players. Masters coming up soon. I think the fun is just beginning. The golf season's up and running,
Agreed.
and the big events we've had a few in a row now, and the bigger ones are still to come. So I'm excited for the rest of the year.
All right, thanks for going through the schedule for us, and I think that's a wrap on episode one. Three under, signing out.
Sounds good. Cheers, boys.
Peace.